I think we should go live.
आपके फीडबैक आ रहा है किसी का माइक आपको इसका सिस्टम को तो नहीं माइक ऑन only one फाइला को भी बुला लें उसका भी इंट्रोडक्शन करा देंगे
Tone down conversation now.
बुला इधर
Oh, should she be there?
जी
She should be here. Let's see if Miss Lala is there.
कंटिन्यूअस फीडबैक
Continuous feedback.
किसी और का कोई आपका अपना माइक तो नहीं हो
एक कोई माइक ऑन है एक है जो ऑफ नहीं हो रहा है ये कौन सा है
That's you. That's you.
ACC पाकिस्तान ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नीचे भी एक माइक है
Which is the new
इंट्रोडक्शंस आपके बारे में
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
echo
Still?
yes मेरा ऑफ है
Mine's off.
then who is the third mic
ये कोई है इसको मैं बंद करूँ
बंद कर दे.
it's not letting me even select it
Because it's disturbing.
अब I won't
Yeah, so if you go back in. Done?
yeah
3, 2, 1.
and I'm going to give introduction of all
Ready?
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. I hope most of you can hear me okay. If not, just put a one message in the chat if you are facing any problem in terms of audio or video, so we can see if technically everything is okay. My name is Sajid Aslam. I'm head of ACCA Pakistan. Today we are very honored. Today we have joined by a council member, Ayla, and she's also going to have a small session after this one. She will be talking about the current resolution and AGM and the voting process, so everybody should be on board and understand the council process as well. Today we also have Harun Ahmed Khan, who is the head of member affairs, and we have got Nurulan, who is heading the marketing in Northside. Just to go back in some of the background, why we have picked up that topic, discover your real earning potential. In the last year or so, while working with a lot of different employers, we are getting different type of feedback. And that feedback also include some of the key areas where employers are concerned, and at the same time, that's a key concern for most of our stakeholders, whether they are in training and talking about stipend, or whether they are members and talking about jobs and salaries. A couple of incidents, without quoting the name of employer, I would like to share with you. In one of our telco, we got a call from HR. We got a new member. We love the member. He's great, but he's asking for a starting salary of 50,000. We know that this is not a market salary. In a 3 to 4 months' time, the guy will figure it out how we should handle that. We can't go back and tell the person that what is the right level of salary for a new member in that type of organization and those type of responsibilities. And we guided them, put the person on a you have a probation as one of a key areas, so tell them that they are on a probation, and after probation, they will be matched with the internal equity and the market competitive salary. Worked out while the member is still working there. Similarly, working with a couple of banks, we figured out that they engaged us specifically on a retention issue, and based on our survey with employees and within their own organization, we figured out that the students or affiliates who are under training, they are not aware of the right level of stipend, and there's a difference in the expectation. and that basically creating a certain retention issue within those organizations. So we are working, and some of the work is already being done on a management training program, rolling out a proper training program there with the right level of stipend and a career progression within all those organizations. These are just a few examples which we picked up from the last year, and we realized, based on our understanding and conversation with a lot of members and students, that they don't know how the market is behaving, what are the right level of salaries or stipends, and what they should expect, what they should negotiate, how they should negotiate, and based on what they should negotiate. So I think there are a couple of things which we will try to cover today, and that's why it's an important and candid conversation which should take place here. What employer expect and what they are willing to pay, what you should expect and what you should negotiate as a member or student. Just to take you from one of a cycle, that how we believe and some of the feedback which we got, the life works. The first thing, everybody is looking forward to get to a pride. And the pride can be defined by a satisfaction, happiness, anything which you could be proud of. And that pride is an outcome of a desired lifestyle. And the lifestyle could be determined by your aspiration around the money, house, maybe on a very materialistic stuff, or it could be on a very spiritual one. So these are the matter of choices, nothing wrong, nothing right. So whatever the desired lifestyle, once you achieve that, that's where you feel the pride. And to get to that desired lifestyle, whatever you decide, requires effort or luck. There are very few people who can get that luck part, but most of the people and every one of you can get to that effort and the hardworking side. And being hardworking itself is something which is a lucky part. But to put the effort or to really use your luck, you have to make a decision. And that decision is basically about what is your desired lifestyle, where you feel that you can really earn that pride, and those decisions are based on either a passion or belief, or it could be based on information or awareness. And then there's another phenomena which is important, that this is not a one-time process, and it's not a one-day and it's not a one-day or overnight thing either. It takes time. So there is a time scale which is associated with that. Importantly, this is not the end thing either. It's a recurring one. Once you achieve one desired lifestyle, you get more awareness, you make more decisions, and you drive pride again and again. I think this is one of a journey which is important to understand, that we have to make decisions in our life, we have to put effort, and we have to commit ourselves to those decisions. And most of the time, luck favors the people who are prepared, who are putting that effort, and they go and they conquer the world. अब इस चीज में सबसे important दो areas आ जाते हैं. Number one is a decision. Number one, defining the desired lifestyle for that matter. So it could be your own choices which you make, and there's nothing wrong, there's nothing right. So that's also an important aspect. It's an aspiration based on your situations, your value set, your family thing, and your environment. So you have to define yourself what exactly you want to achieve. Important ये है, जब आप अपने लिए एक desired lifestyle देख रहे हो, उसमें आपने एक decision करना है कि what exactly you want, because सबसे important, or sometimes we are not very clear what exactly we want. And this phenomena will trigger and will keep happening again and again. आप अपनी लाइफ में नई सिचुएशन में एंटर होंगे, आप दोबारा से चीजें चेंज करेंगे, दोबारा से एक डिसीजन लेंगे, दोबारा से इंफॉर्मेशन या पैशन पे बेस करेंगे, दोबारा से एक एफर्ट करेंगे, और दोबारा एक नए लाइफस्टाइल पे चले जाएंगे. अगर आज let's say we take a very material view कि आज अगर आपका आउटकम ये है कि in the next 5 years you want to have earning capacity of 500,000 a month, once you reach there, I'm sure you will be taking it to the next level. It should be million or 2 million, and then you will start putting a new effort to that. So the important part there, do we understand that phenomenon? Is it something which we understand? So we are going to run a small poll here, just try to figure out कि हम में से कितने लोग हैं जो इस phenomena में believe करते हैं या इस take it as one of a phenomena. I'm sure there are other phenomena which different people have got a different philosophy, how they will reach to that satisfaction level and how they will get to their desired lifestyle. So right now we are launching one small poll there, a small question: do you agree with this concept, getting to the pride or achieving a desired lifestyle? So you can vote yes or no, or even if you don't know, just choose don't know. So that will at least give us a visibility that we are working towards, and we are working in the right direction. So you have a 1 minute, help us out to gauge that, how quickly and how well you understand the concept of getting to a pride or a desired lifestyle. So I think currently the poll which we can see here is 83% people are saying yes, that they can understand this process, this phenomena. 5% people are saying no, and there are 12% people who are saying they don't know. Right, so this is currently the result of the poll. I think that will help significantly to build this conversation further. If we understand that the pride is an important aspect in life, desired lifestyle is a one way to achieve it, effort or luck is a key criteria which get us there, and decision is a fundamental or a foundation which is based on a passion or information. Today's session is not based on talking about the passion or belief. It would be talking about more the information and awareness. And the awareness which we are going to share with you is a collection of different conversations which took place between employer and ACCA. And we structured it in a way that everybody who has a different starting point with ACCA can understand that. So this is something which I would request you to take a minute and see that, what's appearing on your screen. Basically, it's showing some entry levels for different, it's showing an entry level, or this entry level mein there is a different starting point, jump metric say, intermediate say, A level, BCom or graduates, other professional bodies, some people are coming from the university straightforward. There are different age group based on their starting point. उस age group के लिहाज से उनकी एक journey जो in ideal scenario map हुई है कि वो for example अगर कोई A level या graduation के बाद start करता है, वो ACCA करते हैं, training करते हैं, and then become member. Basic assumption ये है कि 2 से 2.5 साल के दौरान आपका ACCA के papers complete हो जाते हैं, 3 साल की training, and then you become a member. बहुत से हमने students और affiliates और ad members ऐसे भी देखे हैं जो during their study they were studying and doing the training at the same time, and vice versa. Some of the people, they waited to complete their exam, उसके बाद उन्होंने training के लिए activity शुरू की. So there is a different journey level. But what we taste here from an age group perspective, कि एक normal scenario जहाँ पे एक somebody make a decision और वो training जो है वो papers के बाद कर रहे हैं, that's how they are becoming a member. So वो किस age में member बन रहे हैं? दूसरी चीज जो इसमें इंपॉर्टेंटली हाईलाइट हो रही है वो ये है कि व्हाट इज स्टाइपेंड, एंड दिस इज आल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट कन्वर्सेशन. जब आप ट्रेनिंग में हैं, यू कांट टॉक अबाउट सैलरीज, रिगार्डलेस आपका एम्प्लॉयर उसको क्या कहता है, वो उसको कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल जॉब कहता है, इंटर्नशिप कहता है, ट्रेनिंग कहता है, या एक रेगुलर जॉब कहता है. आपके लिए वो 3 साल की ट्रेनिंग है जिसमें आपने अपने कॉम्पिटेंसी फ्रेमवर्क जो है अचीव करने, आपने अपने ऑब्जेक्टिव फुलफिल करने, और उस दौरान जो कुछ आपको मिल रहा है दैट इज कॉल्ड स्टाइपेंड. पाकिस्तान में स्टाइपेंड के लिए डिफरेंट लेवल्स हैं जो ऑलरेडी डिटरमिन हुए हैं ऑन अ डिफरेंट सेक्टर्स. इट्स नॉट अ हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल. व्हाटएवर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द जर्नल रेफरेंस. हमने ऐसे ट्रेनीज भी देखे हैं जो बिल्कुल जीरो पे काम कर रहे हैं, एंड एट द सेम टाइम वी हैव सीन अ ट्रेनीज विद partly qualified, like they are partly qualified, they haven't completed their exams either, and they are working on 105, 110,000. depending on their personality traits, their other skills, and the industry they are in. But these are the journal reference point कि अगर आप public practice में शुरू करते हैं तो because ICAP has already defined some of the stipend level, so आपके 8,000 से 13,000 का stipend level होता है where you start. अगर आप corporate side पे हैं तो corporate में generally if you are younger in term of your age, so एक lower level से शुरू करते हैं, and then in a 2 years 3 years time that there is a range where the people get there. और उसके बाद अगर आप ग्रेजुएट करके आ रहे हैं, यू आर इन डिफरेंट एज ब्रैकेट, तो उसका थोड़ा सा स्टाइपेंड लेवल कॉर्पोरेट साइड पे फर्क होता है. इसी तरह जब आप स्टार्टिंग सैलरी के लिए लैंड करते हैं तो वहां पे भी थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस आ रहा है एज के लिहाज से कि आप किस एज ग्रुप में फॉल कर रहे हैं, बट दैट्स अ वेरी माइनर डिफरेंस. एक और इशू जो हमने देखा इसमें, एंड देन इफ यू आर अ 5 year पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन, this is something you should be looking at 300,000 plus as a minimum standard. So we are talking about आपकी age between 30 to 32, 33, while you should have completed 5 years post membership. So वहाँ पे bare minimum आपका ये earning level होना चाहिए, चाहे आप client side को serve कर रहे हैं या आप किसी employer को serve कर रहे हैं. एक और interesting phenomena जो हमने देखा market में from a negotiation perspective, anybody who was under training और किसी corporate side पे training में थे and they were at let's say 40-45,000 उन्होंने achieve कर लिया at the end of the 3 years. As a member, when they go back in the market or within the same employer, when they start negotiating, वो 45% पे 10-20-15% ऊपर लगा के they see that as a salary. This is not a right reference. Salary और stipend में हमेशा एक फर्क होगा. So when you are negotiating a salary, you are talking about the job market. When you are negotiating a stipend, you are talking about the training market. So salary level और stipend level फर्क होते हैं. So never confuse that part कि आपका जो current stipend level है उसी के ऊपर 10-20% का आप एक increase लगा के आप salary negotiate करना शुरू करते हैं. Why it's important? Why we are talking about these salary levels? Why we are talking about the stipend and the difference? आपकी starting salary, जो आपकी first job की बात कर रहे हैं, हम training की बात नहीं कर रहे, आपकी starting salary in a job market matters a lot, क्योंकि that become your starting reference. अगर आप वो properly negotiate नहीं करेंगे, if you don't get there, उसके बाद जो उस पे increments लगने हैं और जो next level आपने jumps लेनी है, वो आपके लिए मुश्किल हो जाता है. If market is willing to pay 70 or 80,000 rupees and you negotiate 40,000, 50,000 rupees, either in a 6 months time आप बहुत ज़्यादा frustrated होंगे क्योंकि आपको market की information मिल चुकी होगी, या if you are content enough and you want to continue, 50 से 80 की jump लेने के लिए आपको शायद 2 से 3 साल लग जाएंगे क्योंकि उस पर 10, 15, 20% का increment आ रहा होगा. So it's important to understand those market trends. Another important point, don't use these as a one of a core reference. ये references number जो यहाँ पे इस वक्त आपको display हो रहे हैं screen पे, ये दिसंबर 2015 के हैं. दिसंबर में जब हमने इस चीज को डेवलप किया था तो वहां पे आज शायद अगर आप इन्फ्लेशन रेट करेंगे तो ये शायद 80,000 या 300,000 नहीं होगा, इसमें 10-15% की इंक्रीज आ चुकी होगी. तो मेक श्योर आप इसको एज अ बेंचमार्क फॉर लाइफ यूज नहीं कर सकते, इसको उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आपने यूज करना है कि ये दिसंबर 2015 की स्टडी है. So keep that in mind. Even public practice side पे भी stipend जो है अभी recently उसमें भी उसका benchmark थोड़ा सा increase हो गया हुआ. So it's not 13,000, it's up to like 14,000 now.
There are a couple of members who've commented that these benchmarks do not match the ground realities even in 2015. This was a question put up by Yusuf, a comment put up by Yusuf, and there was another one by Arif Javed saying salaries given in this chart are not correct. More than 80% members are below this level. Can you please tell who offers up to 45k stipend?
Okay.
I think थोड़ी सी अगर realities आप share कर दें कि हमारे पास की data का source क्या है.
Okay, so this is a feedback which employer is willing to pay. That's the feedback where the employer is willing, and we will come to the level to whom. किसके लिए ये stipend और ये salary levels की बातें हो रही हैं? What the employer expectation, where they have put that price tag? क्योंकि price के साथ definitely एक जो second part आता है, जो important part है, we will come to that next. एक important part है how the product should look like. Is somebody willing today to pay for Nokia 80,000 rupees, or they are willing to pay for iPhone? So both have got a very basic functionality to make a phone call and SMS, and then all other is practically how the additional apps comes into play. So we have to understand the gap where we stand. Are we there yet, or we are not there yet? This is something which employer is willing to pay. Is our member student, are they ready to get that? इसका question हम अभी इसको बाद में लेते हैं. If you can run that quickly, Harun, if you can open up that poll, the second one. So we really want to understand, and we do understand because हमने अभी recently members की salary level भी review किया, and this is a key area why we are sitting here today and talking about this one, because most of the people you are saying and most of the people who are recommending, that's true. Our members, even with the 3 years experience, are not there yet, which they should be. So there is a one poll which is open right now. Are you happy with your current earning level? If you can take a minute and fulfill that. You were a little bit late, otherwise we could have had that in the secretary as well, and we can use you as an example.
Ten seconds.
2013 October.
Okay. So if you can display the results. So if we see result right now, we have got 16% people who are saying they are happy, they are with their current earning level. There's 84% who are saying no. And that is exactly what at least my expectation is, and that's why we are here today. And this triggered this type of candid conversation. Importantly, understand what are the benchmarks, and do you want to run the second one? So now the second part, which is important, what employer tell us what they expect based on their understanding of ACCA qualification and market. They understand the ACCA provide one thing called behavioral framework, and that's one of a part of your qualification. ACCA also provides something called competency framework, where the qualification is linked with the exams, with the study material, with the training and the objectives around it, and those competency framework based on which an employer understand ACCA and expect something from that individual who is sitting across the table. Then they also provided in their simple language what are the other skills and personality traits which they are looking for. And interestingly, and it's not for ACCA, this other skills and personality traits are practically for anybody who is coming to them as a journal personality. The one thing which they bring out for the young members is self-assured. The people are not very confident when they present themselves. The well-dressed and the well-groomed thing, that really create an impression, so it's an important component. Responsible and credible. They really want people who can understand and provide the feedback as well. They should not go just as a yes man, and that's not every employer looking for that, but this is also one of the credibility which they are looking for, where the person can contribute and take the responsibility rather than shy off from that. Punctual, this is also coming up as one of an important component which employer look in a personality trait. And that research capability that is specifically for somebody who's providing opinion. And as an accountant, our core job is to provide opinion based on which somebody make a decision. It can be a very simple opinion like, there's accounts payable and is it due today, should we pay or not? Or it could be a decision whether we should go and acquire a big organization out there. These all are the opinions which accountants provide as professional, that what the decision and what are the likelihood of risk or materiality of the risk, and based on those opinions, somebody put money there. So understand your role. You provide opinion, a piece of paper or your words, and somebody put money there. So that's what they expect from an accountant. Research capability is important because when you are providing an opinion, then they should be, your employer or client should be confident that you know the market trends, you know the key mechanics in the market and the drivers, and you have done your research work prior to provide such opinion where it's your word and somebody else's money. Social networking, they also talk about that. It's journal that they want to see their employees or their even the service provider to socially connected. So there is a flow of information, problem solver and decision maker. So person can make a decision. It should not become a liability for the manager that everything has to go to manager and then the manager has to come back with a decision or a solution. Team player is an important component. Language skill, that's rather we admit it or we don't admit it, English language plays a critical role in a corporate world. आपकी सारी emails, आपकी सारी reporting, आपकी सारी official communication English में है. So writing, reading and verbal. So you should be able to even express yourself in an English language. That's also one of a desirable skill. Another area is the listening and retaining. So ये एक और important feature जो उन्होंने identify किया है. Most of the personalities, they don't listen, or if they listen, they are practically waiting for their turn to talk. They are not listening. Listening means listening, absorbing, retaining, and then responding to some conversation, rather than just waiting that the other person finishes and you provide your opinion or you start talking. So listening is also one of a skill which is important. IT literate, so you should know Microsoft, and this is specifically for accountants. Microsoft Office and ERP are the bare minimum, and local laws are also the bare minimum, which person should be able to understand if they are working in a finance field, how to file a simple return. So these are the expectation on a personality and other skills. If we come to the behavioral framework, this is a very standard ACCA thing, and these are the documents and expectations which exist with employers. Is act ethically and legally, they should be proactive, they should be participating, they should be commercially aware, so they can see the big picture. So if you're working there, so you should be able to see where that business is going. Exercise professional control, and they are organized and aware. So if there is a certain control of and flow of the information, that should happen in a professional way. Competency frameworks में उसमें कुछ बड़ी basic चीज हैं जिसकी basic understanding they feel that it should be there and they judge people on that is a professionalism and ethics, leadership and management, strategy and innovation, stakeholder relationship management. This is also an important area, particularly for an accountant. Even if you are a new trainee in accounts payable or you are a CFO for the organization, you have got a lot of stakeholders. चाहे वो procurement हो, चाहे वो vendor हो, या आपके accounts payable और treasury का relationship हो, या as a CFO ये board हो, directors हो, bankers हो. These stakeholders, you have to understand who are your stakeholders and how you manage that relationship with the right expectation. Governance, risk and control, this is the basic understanding of these areas, is something which they expect that should exist. Specialization in any two of following: corporate reporting, financial management, taxation, audit assurance. You have to pick what are your specialized area, but there is a basic areas where they expect and judge people while doing a training option or a recruitment, which is around the behavioral framework, competency framework, basic understanding, and other personality traits. And this is the benchmark for a new member. We are not talking about somebody with a 10-year experience. We are talking about the expectation of employer exists when you present yourself as a new member. That means this level of awareness and this level of effort has to go in while you are under training. So ये एक important component or awareness piece है जो कि आपके लिए, if you are looking for those type of salaries and stipend which we are talking about, this is the benchmark which employers have in mind, not only for ACCA, for anybody who's coming and joining their organization. Personality traits are generally the common. Behavioral and competency framework, because they have got access to those documents, they are part of those programs, they have gone through that, they are experienced guys, so they judge you based on that. May not be explicit word, but the implied questions. So this is something as a basic benchmark for a new member, और ये awareness हमारे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि it's not something which they are expecting for somebody with a 5 years post membership experience. They are expecting this something coming from a fresh member who is just out of training and completed all the exams and gone through all the modules, including the ethics, including the competencies, including completing their PER and the exams, everything completed, new member. This is something which they expect, and they are willing to put their 75,000-80,000 rupees. And there are a lot of examples, and we can see some of the examples here as well, like 16% people who have gone through that journey. This is a game of awareness. If you are not aware of, and it doesn't require extraordinary effort because you have already got most of that stuff. It's just that आपने अपनी conversation में इस चीज को reflect करना है. That means you might have to go back, read a couple of your papers, understand the current trends, and आपकी social conversation, regardless वो एक employment interview है, एक social conversation भी है, वहाँ पे भी आपने अपने आप को represent करना है because इस वक्त सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट जो रेफरेंसेस होते हैं वो आपके सोशल नेटवर्क से आते हैं, वो इंटरव्यू के 1 घंटे से नहीं आते. दे डू जज दैट पार्ट, बट आपका जो सोशल सर्कल है दैट विल इंडोर्स कि ये जो चीजें आप बात कर रहे हैं क्या ये कन्वर्सेशन आपसे पहले किसी और ने भी सुनी हुई है, और somebody can go back, यार द गाय थॉट रियली, ये जो बात करता है ना बड़ी सॉलिड होती है और बड़ी लॉजिकल और रैशनल और स्ट्रक्चर वे में बात कर रहा हूँ. ये एक जुमला आपकी लाइफ में कहीं पे बहुत ज्यादा पार्टिसिपेट कर रहा और कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा होता है इन टर्म ऑफ योर प्रोफेशनल लाइफ एंड योर अर्निंग पोटेंशियल. सो आपकी रेपुटेशन इन अ सोशल नेटवर्क, whether it's an online social network or whether it's a face-to-face conversation, ये एक important reputational piece है. How people see you there. Do they see you as a professional accountant which they can rely, and they can rely on your opinion for their personal money as well. So I think here we had that conversation. We talked about there's a roadmap towards a pride. There's a roadmap to pride. There is a certain willingness in the market, and there is a benchmark for which that willingness to pay exists. And those benchmark, again I'm repeating, it's not for a very experienced member. As soon as you will get to the experience side, the expectation will change. When you will be talking about 5-year post-membership experience, people will be looking for a very specialized areas where you have excelled. They will be looking at something where 10 other people can endorse your journey and the benefit you have delivered. Another small concept I just want to touch upon, and then we will go back and get some of the feedback from...
and the form also.
Yeah, I'll come to the form. So, keep in mind, you will pay for a value. So, अगर मैं एक sales की salary का phenomena की बात करूँ, that's very easy and simple. So, based on the target, based on a salary, let's put it that way, if somebody is earning 100 rupees in a sales side, उसकी sales की जो target होगा, वो 4,000 होगा. So, it's 40 times of the salary. That's a general benchmark in a sales side. So anywhere between 35 to 40 is a basic benchmark for a middle level or an entrant sales guy. That's how they determine कि उसका salary level क्या होना चाहिए, including the fixed and variable one. So I think I challenge you or encourage you, go back and see कि आपका salary level और value addition क्या है. Don't come back being an accountant कि मैं तो determine नहीं कर सकता मेरी value क्या है. You are either working on a control, you are working on a payment side, you can evaluate the risk. So you have to put a value. And believe me, once you put a value and you can start having that negotiation or conversation, then आप अपने लिए earning potential improve कर सकते हैं. Whether that conversation is taking place with the client or whether that conversation is taking place with the employer. Unless until आप उसको ये नहीं बता पाएंगे कि आप value क्या add कर रहे हैं, you are not in a right phase of negotiation. because the compensation is a function of the value you're gonna add. So आपको अगर आपकी value नहीं पता तो आप उस negotiation process को run नहीं कर पाएंगे. So I think right now I'll just hand over to Harun to run a one quick poll and get some of the feedback.
Yeah, now that they've understood the cycle, the behavioral framework, I think they are best placed to answer these questions.
Okay, so we have opened up a one poll there, and we will come back to that again, and we will show that. So I think this is a poll which is open right now, and if you are
linked to the previous
linked
question.
to the previous question, that if you are happy, if you are not happy, so what the reasons you should be looking at, and then we will come how we can, if there is any gap you have identified, how ACCA can help to cover that.
So this is for those 14 or 16% who said that they're happy with their salary. If they're happy with their salary, do they think that their salaries match up with the benchmarks? Yes or no?
Is it open?
Stop. Yes, so 50%, this is interesting, 49% feel that yes, their salaries match with these benchmarks, but 51% feel after having seen the benchmarks that even though they were satisfied with their salaries do not match with the benchmarks. And it's important that they have to look into the reason why their salaries do not match. Now, I'll run the last poll here as well.
And then
Yeah. And this is for the 84% members who felt that who were not happy with their salaries. So, if you're not happy, do you know the reason now? I mean, having looked at the competency framework, the behavioral framework, the specialization, salary benchmarks, do you think it is the skills and knowledge gap because of which you're not happy with the salary, or the market is not paying you the right salary? Or is it because you were unaware of the market salary benchmarks? Or is it that you have undersold yourself? And these are multiple options you can select. You don't have to just select one. There could be multiple options, so that you can select multiple. Okay, I think about 56% people have voted. The conclusion is, interestingly, as we anticipated, majority of the members undersold themselves and they were not aware of the salary benchmarks. So that's a very important phenomenon. And I think that is exactly what this session is addressing.
I think I'll agree with Harun. I think this is one of our finding that, and that's a conversation with the employers as well, where we feel that once people undersell, it becomes very difficult for them to get to the right salary level. Harun, you want to make
Interestingly, there are about 24% people who feel that there is a skills and knowledge gap as well. I mean, this is also interesting because this is a hard realization. I mean, people don't normally realize that they lack certain skills or there's a knowledge gap. If there is this realization, that means these people, if they're able to match up this or bridge this gap, they can progress in very, very quickly. They're sort of geared up to move to the next level. Right? But those who are not aware of their knowledge and skills gap, it is important that they know about it and they try to bridge it.
I think in my experience, the biggest learning is the self-awareness first. So if you are honest and you can really understand the gap based on a certain benchmark, that itself is good enough to create that progression or a decision based on those information that what to do next. Importantly, we have put a one survey. If you can see that in the bottom of that slide, there's a one survey which will be available to you. Harun will be sharing that survey through chat, and it will be coming to you. So we will make sure that before we end that, we really fill that form. It may not be very important for you, maybe or may not be, but it's very important for us that you fill it honestly, and it will give us a visibility that which are the areas where we have to start immediate intervention and see that if there's a gap and majority people are there with that gap, what intervention we can bring out. This particular survey is based on this benchmark for a new member. So be very candid, providing us where you stand in terms of 0 to 10, where the 10 is the highest one and the 1 is the lowest one. So where you stand in that term of rating. This is a confidential information, not going anywhere. It's important for us to understand to create those type of interventions going forward. Some of the interventions are happening right now, but we definitely want to improve on this specific market-related feedbacks, and then we can create some of the interventions here using and leveraging one or few of our members, which is like a professional expert forum, our MNP, and luckily we have got the council member here who can also provide some of the feedback around it. So you should be able to see that survey that's called ACCA Pakistan survey. Rate yourself, put your registration number, type in your name, your mobile number, landline, email, come down to current employer, working sense that for the current employer designation. Salary is an optional field. If you give us that, will give us more visibility around where we stand. And then there's a rating, agree or disagree, so it's 1 to 10. So I always act professionally and ethically. That's a question coming from the behavioral framework. So where you stand, you have to rate yourself. There's nobody going to watch you. And this information is totally confidential and not to be shared anywhere. Even within ACCA, there's a very limited circulation. Only the summaries which will come out and the outcome in terms of how we should be doing the intervention is shared widely. Otherwise, that data basically stays in a very limited visibility. So be open, give us a visibility so we can help you better there. Anything else from the board?
There are questions and answers that we have to now proceed to, just after you're done with the presentation.
So I think we can quickly run another view. I think when we come to the question, I just want to create awareness here. I'm not sure how many of you have gone through that professional accounting in the future. There are few professional quotients which are important for us to understand going forward. I would encourage everybody to go and read that research report. It will give you the visibility around the trends and the expectation which is for the future. Even in some areas, currently some of the very advanced level employers or clients may expect that one. The core of it still based on the technical and ethical quotient and the experiences, so that's important, TEQ. But there's an experience quotient, there's an intelligence quotient, there's a creative quotient, vision quotient, emotional intelligence, and the digital one. And I'm not going to get into details of it, but I just want to create that awareness. There's a research called the Professional Accounting of the Future. Please read that research. And some of the quotients which are referred there, I'll just go quickly with the very few of them, like a very brief definition of each. So technical and ethical competencies, that's referred to your skills and ability to perform your day-to-day job which you are hired for. And these are defined in your regular competency as an accountant, which include integrity, skepticism, independence, and definitely the knowledge of the industry, laws, compliances, anything which is applicable on those technical knowledge part of it. Intelligence is the ability to acquire and use knowledge, thinking, reasoning, solving problem, and the ability to understand and analyze situations that are complex and ambiguous. And ambiguity is something which accountants have to live. You never get 100% information to make a decision, although going back to the very basic core job, you provide an opinion and somebody put the money. So if your opinion is based on a 70% of accurate information and 30% is something which is ambiguous, so this intelligence quotient plays a vital role there. Creativity, definitely exploring the new potential outcome, generate new ideas. This is something now expected from the accountants as well. Emotional intelligence is the one of a area which help you to manage your stakeholder well, understand them, understand their different emotions, as well as create a response accordingly and make sure the expectations are set right and they are properly managed. Vision quotient is ability to predict, and digital quotient is the application of existing and emerging digital technology. You should be now very well versed that how the digital currencies are going to be regulated in the world. Maybe, maybe not. How the fintech is going to play its role. So I think there's a lot of digital development which is happening out there, and understanding and using that in a business reference. At the same time, there's a new term you will be hearing a lot, that is called digital governance, digital risk management, digital controls. So all these things will be coming into play, and that's a new opportunity which you will be looking at. And the experience is definitely, it's not talking about your experience, it's talking about the customer experience you may be able to generate. It's again a part of the stakeholder management. So I think with these few brief definitions, I'll again encourage everybody, take some time out during the week, spend a good hour on reading these papers which exist out there on ACCA Global. It's a 2 years worth research which is there, and it will give you a good understanding of an upcoming trend and some of the current trends which are evolving and where the market is going. This is basically the research which came out very recently. If you go back and link it with the benchmarks which we were talking about, a lot of stuff in Pakistan is talking about one way or other the similar areas. So you can't say that it's not applicable to Pakistan, it's coming from a very developed world, although it's coming from the entire world. But in Pakistan, the presence is already there. The expectation of employers and clients is already there. So just reading through that, and my belief, and I have seen that happening, anybody who's reading a one research report a month, उसकी conversation change हो जाती है अपने social or professional circle में. But if you are not spending that 2 hours a month or 4-5 hours a week, if you are very, very much into that opinions business, so वहाँ पे आपके लिए एक important चीज है research capability, understanding those research report and reflecting back in your conversation. और हो सकता है आज आपके employer को वो चीज समझ नहीं आ रही होगी, लेकिन auditor, banker, there are a lot of other stakeholders. जब आप उनके साथ engage होंगे, you will be building your reputation. So don't miss any chance where you have an opportunity to build the reputation. And from here, I think we will quickly go to the questions and try to answer some of the areas.
You can ask them to ask the questions in the chat box.
Now you can ask the questions on a chat box, and we will try.
Questions box.
Question box. Ask your question in a question box.
In the meanwhile, the questions that have already been asked, let's go one by one. In the interest of time, we will not be able to answer all these questions, but they're all recorded.
Yes, yeah.
And we will definitely email back complete answers to all individuals. I'll be randomly asking a few questions.
Just pick up the common theme. So
yeah. The one common theme that emerges from these questions is that the market, the salaries in the market are defined by ICAP.
No.
And ICMAP. And these members do not give ACCAs the due salary or opportunities to grow. Number two, a similar pattern, employers therefore also prefer ICAP and ICMAP members, right?
So, government sector.
Yeah, public sector. It used to be.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is a question that is emerging.
Okay, I think understand two things. Number one, the guy pick up the public sector as well and the government sector as well. ACCA is a preferential or incentive-based salary in a recent notification. If you have seen the finance ministry, ACCA is a part of that, right? So ACCA, ICMA are the same. ICAP still have got 200 rupees higher or 300 rupees higher than that. They're still keeping that differentiation. General conversation and the concept, when we talk to different employers, and when we are talking about employers, we are talking about the guys like Nestle, and we are talking about a very small SME, the 12, 13 person company who requires an accountant. What are the key areas they are looking for? उनका एक बड़ा स्टैंडर्ड जवाब होता है, हमारी जान छुड़ा दो, कोई इस चीज को ले ले और मैनेज कर ले. When they look for somebody, that's when the person is independent, he can understand the different business requirement, he can fulfill that requirement keeping the controls there, he can create a visibility for the employers or whoever is the supervisor, and he can understand the tax, because tax is an important component. A lot of people came back to us that ACC में तो local tax ही नहीं है. For the last year or so, on every Saturday there is a session going on a taxation. There are people, ACCA people, who are running tax practice in Pakistan. The tax department recognized ACCA as one of our practitioners, that they are competent enough by reading 32 pages of Pakistan law, they can really start practicing because it's based on the English law. So it's not a structural change, it's the understanding of the application of a law in a different situation. It may take a big effort if you want to, but if you don't want to, then there's always an excuse that why you are not doing it. But if you want to do that, there's a lot of opportunity which is available with ACCA on every weekend for active affiliates and members to go through those taxation, and it was discussed section by section, and that's include sales tax, and that's include income tax, and that's also include the provincial sales tax and the implication. We are again the first one who was talking about the real estate implication on the valuation and then the concealment of income laws and what's happening in that world. We are seeing right now with the chambers and everybody, the person who are very aggressive and talking about the advanced stage of taxation. It's the level of effort we might have to put in. So going back to the question, what does it take when you are sitting in an interview and convincing somebody, keeping in mind the person, we are talking about the private organization first. The private organization, somebody is putting money there, and they don't want to put money like कोई बंदा अगर सिफारिश से आ रहा है या कोई बंदा एक रेफरेंस से आ रहा है और कॉम्पिटेंट नहीं है, बिकॉज उनका अपना पैसा है वो जाया हो जाता है. सो दे आर लुकिंग फॉर द टैलेंट. और इस वक्त एम्प्लॉयर से अगर आप बात करें तो दे आर irrelevant to whether it's ICAP, ICMA or ACCA, as long as the person sitting across the table can convince them that the person can take their pay. वहाँ पे एक important again, अगर आप employer या आप एक supervisor का mindset देखेंगे ना, he has a problem, that's why he is hiring you. And if you are confident enough and you can demonstrate that confidence in your conversation, most of the people will act rationally. There are very few people who will have that bias, but you are right, there will be a bias and that will always stay in the market. At the same time, there are people who are biased towards ACC. फैसलाबाद से अभी complain आती है ICAP के बच्चों को opportunity नहीं मिल रही. So at the same time, this is a different phenomenon. So वहाँ पे ACCA को मिल रहा है, ICAP के बच्चे challenged हैं. So it depends on the preferences on both sides.
There are a lot of questions. We'll just take a couple.
Yeah.
Very brief answers if possible. There is a comment and a question by Ali Akram saying the best thing ACC is offering is having exemptions / MRAs with international bodies. But that's best for people moving abroad, not for members in Pakistan. So that was a comment. I'm sure Ayla will elaborate on this as well. Then there are members who are not happy with the exemptions being offered to other institutes by ACCA.
In Pakistan.
In Pakistan. They feel that, and it's an argument, that academic qualifications don't even give a deep insight into things like IFRSs, etc., or auditing standards. So, how can those people who come through the exemptions route, bridge that knowledge gap? So that's also a comment. There are members who've said this was a very, very relevant and important subject, and we're also glad that after quite a lot of deliberation and hard work, we've finally come to the conclusion that these are important things for members to know, and we've taken that bold step of discussing this very bold subject. So are you, do you realize your learning potential? So that was the thought behind it. There was a question All right, this looks like more technical ones. Need your kind advice. If somebody is working in corporate affairs of companies, like dealing with SECP, stock exchange, managing provident fund, also working as coordinator with outsourced internal audit function, shall someone continue doing the job, or should he switch and look for a new one?
Very quick reply to that. I think this is a great area which we capitalize or capture under the governance, risk and control and compliances. I think this is a growing concern for most of the organization. Managing an outsourced vendor itself is a big opportunity, and that's a way forward for a lot of organization. My personal, not ACC, my personal opinion, excel in that. Learn more in that. There are big opportunities which exist in Pakistan and outside Pakistan on these areas. Coming back quickly to the exemptions, I think you're very well aware of that. The exemptions are up to F9, and all the exams and the competencies are again tested at P level. And the people who are coming from the exemption route, they cannot go beyond F9. And they really have to come and test themselves and prove that these exemptions are right, and they are competent enough based on the courseware and the assessment which we have evaluated, that they can pass P level. You're right. Some of the university and the exemptions, we understand, we have seen those behavior, they are not doing very well, so we are picking it up with the university, the commitment and the quality which the documents are reflecting. It's not reflected in our exam side of it, but some of the university students, they are coming up, they are doing well at the P level. So P professional level is the basic assessment or evaluation on the entire competency. The fundamental level are the process to build those competencies which are tested at a P level in a different way and a more integrated way. So I think understand that when we are comparing the documents and the courseware, so that's where the exemptions comes into play, where the university documents are saying that they can reflect those type of courseware and they build those competency. But the people, if it's not true, that's practically mean the people will struggle at P level. And the university will have subsequently, at some stage, they will have a reputational issue with ACCA.
I think there are two very strong endorsements.
Let's take 2 questions more and then we move to.
Okay, I mean, some strong endorsements of what you were saying about social networking. Mirza Kambar Hussain is saying, for me personally, social networking with ACCA members and other finance professionals has helped me excel in my career as an auditor. It opens doors towards better opportunities. So that's an endorsement. And he's also given a comment about interviewing. He's saying, with my experience as an interviewee, I have observed that it is vital to link your knowledge and skills with current affairs, economic scenarios, and present your experience during an interview.
No, I think that's very, very well. So you really refer it with the current trend and you link it back with what you have gained as experience and now it's linked with it. That's why research once a month, when you start reading one research a month, it changes your conversation. You can yourself see how relevant your experience to this new trend. The new trend may have a different name and a little bit different mechanics, but it's the same thing which you have learned under different circumstances or under different terminology.
Sadiq, there are a lot of, I mean, I'm again talking about the themes emerging from these questions. Can you explain the background of this benchmarking? How has the benchmarking done?
The salary or the
salary element? Because most of the people think that this is, it's far away from the actual ground reality. So I think we need to explain that this is how ACCA feels the salaries should be at. It may or may not be the actual situation on ground, but what was the basis that on this opinion?
So how we came up with this one? First we will talk about the benchmark. In fact, it worked otherwise. First, the employer came back and they said, guys, this is what we understand from ACCA side, and these are the skills which we are looking for. And then we asked to put the different benchmark in terms of the salary. So based on those benchmark, if somebody is there, so what type of salaries they are going to put. So there are people or their employer who are putting a very high level, and there are people who are going for this 70,000, 80,000 as for the new member. So we took the least one. So don't take it as a highest level. These are the minimum benchmark which you should anticipate and negotiate, provided that expectation, because it's not the independent conversation, it's dependent on how the new member benchmark look like versus what the salary they want to put there. Because the expectation again, if there is a new member benchmark, if somebody achieved that, there is expectation to deliver a certain value which is way higher than the salary which employer is willing to pay. So it's the context of the benchmark where that salary comes into play. It's not an independent conversation, it's a dependent conversation that these are the benchmark based on which what are the salary level. So this is the basis of it. So you have to look at it in the context of benchmark. And that's why it's important, if we can get to that effort level where the benchmark is met, there are a lot of employers and clients out there who are willing to contribute towards that type of earning.
Okay, one final comment after which we hand over to Ayla, and the comment is that the salary benchmarks you have mentioned are somewhat correct for the entry level, but as the experience grows, the value decreases as against other qualifications. Market is ready to pay an ICAP member, or at times even an ICMAP member with 5+ PQ experience, post-qualification experience, but not that much for ACCAs. Even if you are working at that level, the ratio is quite low. Based on the market established salary rates, are you suggesting that the portions of these and the professional that the 7 portions are higher for professional accounting, the local professional accounting bodies, as compared to ACCA?
Let me put 2 observations there. We have figured out, and we are not going to share the names there, I think 5% of our members, and keeping in mind average age of our members is 29, they are earning 500,000 and plus, and the experience level is still less than 5. And there are people like 2 to 3% who are million and above as well. So we find a lot different type of conversations there, and there is definitely a lot of people are still like based on a 3-4 year experience that they are under 100,000, which is a matter of concern for us, and that's why we are bringing out. So this is a database on 1,100 members who provided some of the information, and that's basically triggered all this conversation, and there are other components. Keep in mind, there is no difference. Post 5 year, there is no difference whether you are an MBA, whether you are ACCA, whether you are a ICAP. Then it's your experience and your technical skill, what you have acquired. If the quality of experience is not reflected, and that's again, I'm again stressing that, it's not reflected in your conversation, that's where you will be challenged. If it's not reflective in your social and professional network, if you're not getting enough endorsement for yourself, regardless what qualification you have, post 5 year, it's all about what value you can add. So that's a conversation which you should be taking up. One challenge which we face among the ACCA one, a lot of ACCA members who qualified, they are not active with ACCA anymore. So they are not getting enough information, knowledge, and trends. The people who are active, at least they are getting those trends, and they can work towards that. The people who are not active, and they were member once, now they are not, even as per Urdu, they should not be using that word, but they will be challenged because they might not be putting that effort, and nobody spent that money to really acquire those type of skills and information which ACCA is providing under the CPD and the different even side of it. So I think don't stay in a negative zone. I would suggest the employer, if they are willing to pay on a certain value you might be able to deliver, there are very few employers who will be biased towards the qualification. We have seen CFO who are MBAs, and we have seen CFO who are ACCAs and ICAP and even ICMA. So we find a lot of variety in the market, so which shows employer tendency to pay for something which they value, and they value what you can deliver in return of the responsibility which are assigned to you, and they can put a value in terms of money to that.
I think that's about it. The rest of the questions or comments we will address through emails, and we circulate to the respective participants.
So we have to request the survey thing.
Yeah, the survey once again remind all of you, although some members have confirmed that they've accessed the survey and they started filling it up, the link of the survey has been sent to all of you through your chat dialog boxes. Please open up this link. The survey is going to take you about 5 to 7 minutes to complete. But this will be a very, very interesting survey if you are interested in knowing a skills gap or a knowledge gap. Or
We want to know that, so we can create interventions.
Automatically, when we share the summaries of the results with them, that will be indicative of the gaps that exist in the market.
And one sincere advice again, one research report a month. It will change your conversation in a 12 months time. ACCA provides that free of cost. You don't have to pay, you have to make an effort to read it out. It's available on ACCA Global site. Capitalize on it. This is just like an app for Samsung or iPhone. If you buy an iPhone and you don't download the relevant apps, you may not be utilizing the right potential of that particular investment which you have made. Use that app, RNI, as frequently as you can and build that conversation in your social network.
ERP systems, Oracle, SAP, they're helping members bridge that skill.
Exactly.
So a couple of members mentioned about it, that they've been able to excel in their careers as a result of knowing ERPs.
And again, going back to Harun's comment, the ERP was one of our intervention also based on that gap analysis which was done a couple of years back. So just make sure you give us enough feedback so we can do that interventions, and then there has to be effort, there has to be a decision, there has to be a desired lifestyle which you should aspire for, and you should look for that phenomena where you can get to that bright level. Yes, thank you very much. Give your feedback. Stay connected with Harun. Any question which comes later, regardless how candid or rude it could be, drop a line. We will try to answer as much as possible. And here I'll hand over to Ayla, and I think she will be running the AGM. So she will be talking about some of the concerns coming out of the ACCA AGM, some of the voting side of it, and how important it's for us as ACCA that you should participate in that phenomenon. Ayla, thank you very much. Sorry.
Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. I hope I'm audible to all.
Yeah.
Harun, shall I start?
Yes.
Lovely. Okay. So, good morning everyone. I know everybody has a full packed work day, and it's good that we are starting at the beginning of the day. I personally really enjoyed and found Sajid's talk very informative from both perspectives, being a member and also being an employer. Just to sort of tell you about the reason जिसके लिए मैं यहाँ पे आज आई हूँ, I am absolutely honored and privileged to represent ACCA members on the council. ये जो council है, ये composed है 36 members की from all over the world, representing members from Pakistan and from all the other jurisdictions also. And council का काम ये है कि it is responsible for the strategic policy of ACCA and setting the objectives, and then work very closely with the ACCA's team, the executive team, to ensure कि ये objectives जो हैं वो deliver हो रहे हैं. ACCA के council की जो supporting बहुत सारी committees हैं, जिसमें एक committee market oversight committee है जिसमें I participate. And market oversight committee का भी ये role है कि looking at ACCA's development from the strategy point of view, address the development needs in the market, and look at how we can enhance ACCA's footprint all over the world, provide support to our members, and then increase their employability. So that's a very key role, and we all strive to look at कि members की needs क्या हैं और उन needs को मद्देनजर रखते हुए we devise these strategies and accordingly develop plans. And some of the things that Sajid mentioned to you, the research and insight, that is also an outcome of such deliberations. We look at where our members are working, what sectors they are working in, what are the happenings around the world, and based on that, needs kya hai, we work on initiatives so that we provide information, we provide tools and skills for our members to improve themselves and to always have themselves equipped and informed at all times so that they are most relevant to their organizations, to their employers, and to their own businesses. So the council, as I said, works very closely with the executive team. You would have received on the 27th of July notice of the AGM, which will be held on 15th of September. There are two agendas that you would have received in the email. One is the voting of the new council members, and also to address on or vote on certain special business resolutions. And the voting started on the 27th of July, and the timeline is finishing on the 8th of July. So, and you all are aware that this is a global sort of participation, and I strongly encourage each one of you to be a part of the process and get involved in the AGM matters as well as the council election matters, so that you have an active say in shaping the strategy and shaping the future of ACCA. All over the world, we have about 188,000 members. And Pakistan mein bhi hamare paas significant number hai. We have about 3,800 active members. So that is a very big, very significant number. And we at ACCA, the member, the council, as well as the executive team, all working jointly, are working towards to make ACCA most unparalleled global brand and to be number one. There were some questions raised earlier, and I would like to take this opportunity to mention specifically that ACCA is working on increasing the footprint and employability, जिसके लिए एक recently एक जो announcement हुई थी CAANZ की for a mutual recognition. And do trust that the council and the executive team are working on many such initiatives so that we can have more and more benefits for members around the world. We are very mindful of what are the requirements and the reality in Pakistan, and we are working on that as well as all the other jurisdictions also. So whatever feedback that you may have, we are more than happy, and we actually encourage and we want your feedback on all the matters so that we can sort of build into our strategy. Now I would like to talk a little bit about these special business resolutions that are put in, and the council has put in a lot of time. We've had so many deliberations, and after that we have given responses on different resolutions why your council thinks कि council के viewpoint के मुताबिक आप इन resolutions के जो council ने viewpoint दिया है to vote against these resolutions, and for the reasons explained. First, let me tell you that we as council, we completely understand that all these resolutions have been put in good intent. There is a good intent, however, most of these resolutions are of administrative nature. So there is a governance process available, there is a system available of based on which ACCA is already working, and where there are resolutions put in जिसकी जो operational nature की चीजें हैं, which you also would have seen when you already may have read, or if you have not read, I strongly encourage you to go through those resolutions and look at the response of the council, why your council feels that that accepting these special resolutions may become a slight hindrance to the already ongoing absolutely robust governance and the system that is in place. Nevertheless, your feedback is extremely important. I will quickly go through the resolutions. So, first of all, the resolution is that the growth in numbers of the, it has to be matched with the quality. And you being an ACCA member, I being an ACCA member, we know that quality is extremely important. और इसीलिए जो तमाम इनिशिएटिव्स जो ऑनगोइंग जो हमारी राइट फ्रॉम जब एक स्टूडेंट आता है और जो एफिलिएट बनता है, जो ट्रेनिंग प्रोसेस होती है, जो हमारा सिलेबस है जो कंटिन्यूसली रिवैम्प और अपग्रेड हो रहा है, इसलिए कि क्वालिटी इंश्योर की जाए. जो तमाम सजीव ने आपको रिसर्च एंड इनसाइट बताई है, एंड आई कुड नॉट अग्री मोर के if we invest in ourselves and equip ourselves by reading these reports, understanding these reports, implementing on those, what we are essentially doing is we are increasing our own competency. We are increasing the organizational competency wherever we are. We are increasing our own growth opportunities. Where we are doing a business, it is contributing towards business development. And last but not the least, what I feel is that when we are more informative, when we are more equipped, there is immense amount of satisfaction. And I think when each one of us is satisfied, there is no stopping us from the growth trajectory. So whatever जो quality की बात है, वो तो एक underpinning and the most fundamental principle है. We all are working towards it. There are no two opinions about it. So going towards the next resolution, I know Pakistan के matter में एक बहुत sensitive मामला है कि to increase of the fee by a certain percentage. Back in 2006, the annual general meeting, the council was given the mandate to increase the fee if there is a need to increase by a certain percentage. And that percentage is only 5%, but the increase has not been 5% each year. There some years it has been 3%, and some years it has been even less. And we all understand that why these increases happen, and this is basically because of the investment and because of the investment that ACCA is making for the benefit of members globally. And research and insight and many initiatives are part of that. Having said this, there are initiatives that are being worked on and already implemented separately, which are for reduced subscription also, and members in Pakistan have also benefited for it. And so the council feels that a certain threshold should be available for operational flexibility.
Next, please. Okay.
So now we're talking about the knowledge of the markets and of fintech and many other tools. Again, ACCA is very mindful of, and that's part of the fundamental strategy. And some of the things that you already have seen the benefits, and particularly if I speak from Pakistan's perspective, the ERP program, the Oracle partnering, we have all of this already in place. So like I said, a lot of these resolutions are of operational nature and are addressing things that are already underway. And that is why at the outset I said that most of these resolutions, and in fact all of them, they are in good intent. Members are giving their feedback, and their feedback is already being implemented. It is about more effective communication and more understanding of what ACC is doing and how they are addressing each of these areas. Okay, now with regards to the collaboration and mutual recognition with other local accounting bodies and international accounting bodies, I have already covered this. I have given you the example of CAANZ, and there are various initiatives underway for sort of enhancing more visibility, enhancing more value addition for ACCA members and for professional accountants all over the world and for the profession. So again, this is talking about things that are already underway. Okay, now this is again absolutely operational about the mailing list. How do you have something? All right. Okay. So now this resolution, as you would understand, talks about PORIA matters. It is not a matter that should be brought to the annual general meeting. Now, in fact, obviously, किसी और कोई operational issue आ भी सकता है, और I'm sure आया है जिसकी वजह से ये resolutions आए हैं. पाकिस्तान के केस में इनफैक्ट ACCA ने इसको और ज्यादा बेहतर किया कि now when members important documents are delivered, in fact when members certificates are delivered, it is not only a delivery of certificate to their homes, but ACCA is now making sure that they are calling people to the office, and it's like a nice event that has been created out of it to recognize people and to sort of celebrate with members that here you have become a member, and not only you are happy, but we are happy also. So ACCA has gone actually beyond that and must compliment Pakistan's team for this initiative. Okay, so resolution 9, this is about creating another committee, oversight committee. I would encourage you members to go through ACCA's governance structure as well as the rule book, which specifies how the governance structure works. Like there's an elected council, and under which composed of council members, there are various committees. There is already a governance committee, there is an audit committee, there is a market oversight committee. There are various other committees also which are contributing towards it already. So perhaps this may have emerged from not having enough understanding that there is a very robust governance structure. And I'm sure आप सब मुझसे agree करेंगे कि एक एडिशनल स्ट्रक्चर बनाना, किसी एक मैटर को एक एड्रेस करना, परहैप्स बहुत सारे स्ट्रक्चर्स बनाना एक बेस्ट सोल्यूशन नहीं होता. हमें इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन एंड एड्रेसिंग ऑल द पॉइंट्स जो कि काउंसिल विद एग्जीक्यूटिव टीम एंड विद ईच कंट्री टीम इज ऑलरेडी डूइंग. Okay, consultation of members to be carried out with the ET when evaluating qualification of the exam structure exemption. And in the earlier session, somebody did raise this very important question with regards to the exemption. You know what? This feedback that you are giving is extremely useful to us. And when I say us, the Pakistan team, ACCM member, the executive team, as well as the council. And please be rest assured कि आपका जो feedback है, वो हर चीज ये तमाम प्रोसेस से गुजरती है और उसको हर चीज को मद्देनजर रख के हमारा कंसर्न ये है कि हम अपनी क्वालिफिकेशन को हर वक्त के मुताबिक रेलेवेंट रखें, इसीलिए हम उसमें वैल्यू एडिशन करते जाते हैं. एट द सेम टाइम हम एग्जेम्पशंस को रिव्यू कर रहे हैं. We are in discussion with universities and colleges and different accounting bodies all over the world, and looking at each of these exemptions and adding value. It has to be a mutually beneficial relationship, only then it is a fair relationship. So we are working on this, and her member ka feedback is extremely important. That is already part of the process. I encourage again, aap sabka feedback extremely important, and whatever specific feedback bhi jo aapka hai, please pass it on to Harun, pass it on to me. We will take this, we take this very seriously, and we will continue to do so. All right, with the matter of, okay, now talking about, there is a resolution suggested saying that by 2019, that the executive team should have ACCM members by a certain percentage. You know, to run an organization, आप भी जानते हैं, मैं भी जानती हूँ कि हमें सिर्फ एक तरह की कॉम्पिटेंसी नहीं चाहिए, हमें एक होलिस्टिक सेट ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंसीज चाहिए है, जिसमें हमें आईटी की एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए है, जिसमें हमें फाइनेंस की एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए, जिसमें हमें लीगल एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए है, जिसमें हमें मार्केट की एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए है, जिसमें हमें गवर्नेंस की एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए है. और it is extremely important that we look at all the competencies and serve to the needs of the organization and deliver the strategy. So while there is no koi bandish nahi hai, there are ACCM members also, but it is not fair that we only look in a very sort of closed box and say that only ACCS can deliver this. And I think organizations around the world now, they are looking at growth ke liye, they are looking at stories and examples and competencies and expertise. Are we still on? Okay. Stories, examples, expertise from different other industries. Like if there is a healthcare industry, they are employing people from IT because they know that IT has become so important in healthcare. And particularly if I give you the example of healthcare not available in third world countries, through linkage of IT, the best of healthcare is through usage of IT is being made available to third world countries, people who do not have access. Likewise, using the digital marketing tools, the examples or the way a retailer or large global organization who are in retail business, how they are using their sort of strategies, that can be implemented in the service sector also. So we need those skills, we need those competencies. At the same time, we do have different or competencies ki baat karen to we need to work as a very holistic team. So confining to a formula does not make sense, and that is not the best for organizations' effectiveness. However, ACCS, of course, we all are ACCS, we make this organization, we make this membership body extremely important to us, but for ET, it will not be useful, it is not the best practice, and I do sincerely hope that you do agree with me on this. All right, so now with regards to the ET reward plan and that their primary measure of performance and plan should take account of important factors. There is a governance committee. There are various committees that resource oversight and many others that look closely at all the aspects. So that is already being done, and I encourage you to look at ACCA's the growth in numbers, as well as the growth of quality, the kind of input that has gone into delivering the strategy in terms of doing various MRAs throughout the world, working with a different organization, and also introducing like qualifications like Masters in Accounting with University of London, all of these things being done. It's a holistic set of all of these points that are being evaluated. So the delivery of strategy, that is already being done. So that is a matter, I would say, of operational nature that is already being taken care of. And of course, it is our responsibility to make members aware that whatever their valid concerns are, how they are being taken care of. Okay, again, this is with regards to setting up the syllabus. Members' feedback is being taken at all points in time, and you will see that जो अभी तक जो हमारे syllabus में जो upgradation है और जो आइंदा भी आएगी, वो members के feedback के साथ है, और उसके अलावा industry के feedback के साथ है, जो employers feedback देते हैं, जो सजीद ने जो अभी बात की with regards to what the employers are looking for, because we cannot work in isolation. We need to look at the need of the industry, and not only employers. We look at different economies and different global developments also. What is happening in a particular industry and how we can gear ourselves to address those needs also. So all of that is being taken care of, in addition to very important feedback that we receive from our members and our affiliates also. Okay, so I think in this one is perhaps a resolution that was put forward with probably not having enough knowledge of that the system is already in place, and the results and the process that is already is shared. So this is already being done. So perhaps there seems to be a little bit of a communication gap when this particular resolution was put forward. So this is already being done. Okay, so last resolution again of asking members to not utilize ACCA's resources. I think what we need to bear in mind is that we need to, members, all of us, we need to have effective communication channels. I think it is most important that we are networked and we understand each other, and in good intent, if there is a resource being used to connect us, this is our body. We are the ones responsible for it. So these tools, they bring us closer together. Members working in Pakistan, like all of you are now sitting on your desks, I'm here talking to you. It is not easy for us to sort of be present in a physical location at one point in time, but through use of different medias, we are connected. So I think we should look at the upside of this connection and take things in extremely good intent. Like we are taking these resolutions in good intent. I think where through the use of ACCA resources, where we are connected together, we should look at the good intent of these resolutions. I think that was the last one. So again, something of operational nature. We all are available to you. Some members may not have been aware of the council governance structure earlier. Now you have access to everyone. You have access to the Pakistan team. You have access to communication with council members. Myself, if you have any concerns, queries, please get in touch. Harun is there to establish a communication channel. We can sit down together again. We should have more interactions with each other. We need to have more effective communication. Again, I think something we need to sort out amongst ourselves and create a better communication network so that we understand each other and we have a more effective communication channel. Yeah. So, last but not the least, what I will again say that most of these resolutions are extremely operational in nature. I have given you council's response. Please, I encourage you again, उसको पढ़ें, उसको देखें, उसको समझें कि कितना robust governance structure है, जहां आप समझते हैं कि कोई additional चीज की जरूरत है, आपका feedback बहुत important है. Please give us your feedback. Please show confidence in your council that you have elected and members from all over the world have elected. We would encourage you to vote, and if you would like to authorize your voting to the President of ACCA, Alexandra Chen, the Deputy President, Brian McNary, who was earlier in Pakistan also meeting a lot of members, a lot of stakeholders, affiliate students, and then Leo Lee, who is the Vice President. You can give your sort of ballot paper and a proxy form to them also. And I hope that I have responded to your concerns, your queries. I will be happy. I am available to answer your remaining queries. Anything else that you would like to discuss? And I would and for these resolutions, you will be given the online participants who are participating in this webinar. They will be emailed the ballot paper. So what you can do is the ballot paper and the proxy form. आप उसको fill करके scan करके you can email it back at members.pk@accaglobal.com. So I strongly encourage you to participate in the process in shaping the future and strategy of your organization and of your future. Thank you so much.
Right, now we have a few questions for you, Ida, and I'll encourage members if they want to ask more questions from Ida, they may type it in the questions box and we'll ask them one by one. Mariam Arshad has said this was a very informative session. Ida, members want to know more about CA, ANZ, and there's a member who's asking about CPA Canada also. What is the status of the MRA, where CGA Canada now merged with CPA? So I've already updated this member, but for the benefit of all others also, that this MRA has already been extended till 2017. You want to say something more about, although you've already described it very well, but you want to add to the CAANZ initiative?
Yes, I will add a little bit more about CAANZ initiative. Members, ये एक globally एक बड़ा landmark ये एक achievement है, क्योंकि CAANZ is part of this association which is of chartered accountancy bodies. So I think ये इतना positive landmark है कि they recognize our value, we recognize their value, and creating this alliance has given such a positive message about the value of ACCA and how professional bodies around the world place ACCA at par and at equal sort of level. At an initial stage, this mutual recognition is available to ACCA members who are working in these countries. However, this creates a door of opportunity for members who would like to go and work in that jurisdiction. At the same time, let me add that there are certain modalities that the executive team is already working on, and as we go along the way, things will become more and more clear. And this is an MOU, this is an MRA which we have established just now, and for us it was extremely important to share this extremely positive and happy news with members. And while we are working on some modalities, in general, in principle, I have told you, and something that Harun has already also told you, there are other sort of smaller modalities being worked on how members globally at large can benefit more. We are working on it so that the benefit can be spread to majority of the members who are interested in working in CA-ANZ countries.
About CA-ANZ, this is just the beginning, and there's much more to come. So stay put, and we will continue to update you as developments take place. Muhammad Usman has asked a question, and I think I would have sort of answered it as well, but then I asked the same question. Usman is saying, why council recommends members to vote for or against? It should give its views only. And the response that I have given to Usman is that council has a better view of the working of ACCA than a common individual or a common member. And therefore, they're in a better position to make recommendation to members also which way. Would you want to add?
I think this is exactly the case. लेकिन ऐसे ये जो resolutions बहुत सारी आई भी हैं, ये इसलिए आई हैं कि perhaps members did not have a very in-depth view of the operations as well of how things are being done in order to deliver ACCA's strategy. So, which council is aware of, and that is why we feel to give our members a viewpoint and our perspective. The council is giving its perspective, enlightening members, and I think why council must do it is for the reason because globally members have elected the council and entrusted the council to look after their interest and look after the larger global interest of the organization, of the members. So actually हमारी responsibility बनती है कि हम आपको उसको पूरा explain करें और पूरा viewpoint दें, and we will of course have a viewpoint for the reason that why do we feel and what is the benefit or what is the harm. So that is why we need to give our opinion, and we are actually making members understand more about the nitty-gritties, about the details of how these things are being done.
Muhammad Yusuf will ask, I think he needs more clarity. If most of the resolutions are already taken care of, and I'm not sure what he means by taken care of, then why you require members to vote against those resolutions? Kindly guide.
Okay. Yusuf, इसमें ऐसा है कि ACCA is an extremely democratic organization. So when members put up a resolution, it has to be as part of the governance structure, needs to go out to the entire member body. हम खुद से किसी resolution को turn down नहीं कर सकते. ये governance का structure है और ये बहुत अच्छा एक structure है. ये बहुत सारी रेजोल्यूशन जो ऑपरेशनल नेचर की थी, जो मेंबर्स की अवेयरनेस थी, कम्युनिकेशन गैप थे, मेंबर्स वर sort of now made aware of, and as part of the governance structure, once these resolutions come up, they have to be voted. They cannot be, I mean, ये अथॉरिटी ना मेरे पास है ना काउंसिल के पास है कि हम कहें कि जी ये टेकन केयर ऑफ है तो हम इसको निकाल दें, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. We need to bring it to the entire member body, but at the same time ये हमारी responsibility है कि हम members को बताएं कि ये जो एक चीज सामने आई है ये taken care of है. So it is part of the process. ये और ये एक बड़ी अच्छी चीज है कि जो चीज अगर कोई as such अगर मैं कहूँ कि ये बहुत ज्यादा डेमोक्रेटिक है कि हम आपके पास लेकर आ रहे हैं कि हम बता रहे हैं कि किसी ने कोई कंसर्न रेज किए हैं तो वो भी आपके सामने आ रहे हैं. We are making everyone aware. We are making everyone part of the process. And this is part of ACC's governance structure. The governance structure prescribes that any resolution that comes up, it has to be shared with all members around the world, and members must have their input in it. But at the same time, हमारी responsibility है कि हम आपको अपना viewpoint बताएं और उसकी factual position बताएं कि what are the factual position, that some things that are already taken care of, what is the factual position of it.
I've got 3 more questions. This one is of particular importance because members need to understand the communication channel between a member in a specific country and the council. So Usman is suggesting that there should be observing members from each country with more than some specific number of students and members to represent concerns on their behalf. So as I understand, the question though is not very clear. What I'm understanding from this is that it's probably talking about members, their concerns being represented in the council. So the structure that exists is that every country has a members network panel or an advisory committee. These are the members who've been elected or appointed, and these MNP members are in regular contact with council members like yourselves. So members in a specific country can approach their MNP members or directly a council member and pass on their concerns. Either they will be responded to, by the respective members if there's some development already taking place, or otherwise that concern can then be escalated in a council meeting.
हमको certainly हारून जैसे आपने describe किया कि ये एक structure already in place है. जैसे पाकिस्तान में elected members network panel है, and this is elected by Pakistan's members, and there is a channel available. I encourage you to be more in touch with members network panel. Members network panel की भी आगे committees हैं जो different issues पे deliberate करती हैं और फिर larger body members network panel को अपना input देते हैं और वो input फिर international assembly में भी जाता है और वो council में भी आता है और at the same time आपके पास और भी channels हैं. ACCA पाकिस्तान टीम मौजूद है और उसके अलावा I am there also to receive any of your feedback also. We can have multiple informal channels also to receive feedback from members. So there are then ACCA ambassadors also that ACCA Pakistan team has sort of encouraged. There is
one pair role,
okay.
They represent ACCA at different employer forums.
At different employers, but those people of course can, if they are active, they can sort of get the feedback also. However, I must say extremely valid points and ये बात है कि हमें अपनी communication channel बेहतर करने की ज़रूरत है. And this channel that we have is also one of the things, one of the important things in this regard. जो channels already मौजूद हैं उसको भी use करें, हम मज़ीद channels को भी explore करें. I think at Pakistan level we can definitely do it, and please let me assure you कि जो भी feedback हमें मिलता है members की तरफ से वो council में भी discuss होता है, and like I said मैं market oversight committee में बैठती हूँ, वहाँ भी discuss होता है कि एक country specific issues भी discuss होते हैं. जो हम लोग जो council members हैं, while हम अपनी countries को तो represent कर रहे हैं, हम global members body को करते हैं, we present. So Pakistan के जो members हैं, I take that personally and I discuss all these matters, whether it is with regards to affordability, whether it is with regards to employability, whether it regards to member की skill enhancement, etc. ये तमाम चीजें ये हमारे लिए fundamental है और हम इसको deliberate करते हैं, इसके लिए initiatives लिए हैं और ले भी रहे हैं. Like one of the things I will mention, something that I felt that there's a globally, जो हमारी industries are different, the way changes are happening in different economies, we should be actively sort of monitoring that, and we do it, and as an outcome of this, हमने बड़ी सारी industries के ऊपर किया है काम और वहाँ पे कि how do we support members, and for that I will say कि प्लीज जो रिसर्च एंड इनसाइट का मटेरियल है और जो एसीसी के अपडेट्स हैं उसको पढ़ें, उसको देखें, उसमें अपना फीडबैक भी दें और उसको यूज करें अपने बेनिफिट के लिए, बिकॉज जितनी हम उन चीजों को अपने बेनिफिट के लिए यूज करेंगे, वी आर मेकिंग इन्वेस्टमेंट इन आवरसेल्व्स, एंड द मोर इक्विप्ड वी आर, the more knowledgeable we are, हम अपना काम भी बेहतर कर सकते हैं, हमारी ग्रोथ भी बेहतर हो सकती है, हम अपने एम्प्लॉयर को भी खुश रख सकते हैं, फिर अपना बिजनेस कर रहे हैं उसको भी बढ़ा सकते हैं. And I think most fundamental of all, which I strongly believe in, कि हम अपना जो skill set बेहतर करके जो अपनी personal development उसमें achieve कर रहे हैं, and the satisfaction that we achieve, and based on that the kind of growth that we can achieve. There is, I think that is the best thing that we can do for ourselves.
Okay. Ahmed Ali has made a comment and has made a suggestion also that saying that there are some international MOUs between ACCA and international bodies. That is a very good thing. Is there any work being done with the local universities like LUMS, IBA for ACCA and their masters, like we've done with the University of London? So, you want me to give an input first?
Yes,
the news for all of you is that we are working very closely now with LUMS, with IBA, with NAS, with all other reputable universities across Pakistan. Currently, the focus of our work with them is alignment of their degree programs with ACCA's curriculum, so that ACCA's content is taught in various accounting and finance programs at these universities. This has been successfully done at LUMS. This is being currently done at NUST, and some of this will be, with IBA also, it will be happening in the near future. Some of that work has already been done. The next stage is master's degree programs being made available to our members. That is, our next agenda working with these universities. Now that we have very cordial relationship with most of these universities, that's our obligation. But I must also say that these universities are already admitting ACCAs to their master's programs. For example, IBA does that. There are members who've completed their master's from IBA after the ACCA qualification. So that's already there.
And just to add on a personal note, ACCA is already admitting members, people who have done MBA from LUMS, and I am one of them. I did my MBA from LUMS, and later I joined ACCA, and I pursued my qualification because it is such a good match, and it is like, it's such an excellent qualification. And while a degree is like, which is extremely important, it is like, it sort of brings you to a certain level. Professional qualifications, and they are a lifetime partner. I'm a graduate of LUMS, I did my MBA, I am very involved with my alumni network with my university also, and we bring up all these points and we work closely so that we can increase our enhancement through our personal networks also. So ACCA ka ye ke we are of course working on this, and we will continue to work on this. इन पाकिस्तान में जैसे लम्स में भी ये चीजें चल रही हैं, लम्स के साथ भी, IBA के साथ भी, और भी यूनिवर्सिटीज के साथ. At the same time, we are doing this in other countries also. So members in Pakistan, rest assured कि ये तमाम चीजें हो रही हैं ताकि हमारा एक जो हम एक दूसरे की क्वालिफिकेशन और डिग्री से बेनिफिट उठा सकते हैं, वो हमारे मेंबर्स के लिए एक ज्यादा डिफाइंड और ज्यादा एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड और एक ज्यादा एक्सेसिबल पाथ हो. बिकॉज जितना हमारे पास एक्सेस आसान होगा उतना हम हमारे मेंबर्स इसको आसानी से अचीव कर सकते हैं.
I know this, it seems that there's one point that is still not clear to members, and Yusuf has asked this question again, saying, why should we vote against a particular resolution if it is already a part of the ACC policy?
देखिए, आपको you have to vote. So either you can vote for or you can vote against. So or you can sort of, if you do not choose to vote, you can sort of you can give a proxy also. But like I explained to you, as part of the governance, ये resolutions जब put forward कर दी गई हैं, तो इसका एक इसके ऊपर एक opinion लेना या इसके ऊपर एक action लेना लाजिम बनता है as part of the process. So that is why it is rather an administrative and a governance matter that even though ये resolutions taken care of majority हैं या part of हमारे system का हिस्सा हैं, members have to sort of give their say because of the governance system available. So, and I strongly encourage that for members who feel that they would like to entrust this responsibility to the council, you can fill out a proxy form and you can designate the senior officers of the council, जिसमें President of ACC who's Alexandra Chin, Deputy President Brian McNary, who was in Pakistan, who interacted with a lot of members and is very excited to come back to Pakistan again, which he mentioned because he thoroughly enjoyed his interactions here, and then the Vice President also. So members also have this choice to give a proxy form also.
There is one question by Jawad Ghani. I try to answer that, and that's about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs attestation of ACCS degrees. There was some issue recently when Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because of the exact scandal, had stopped attesting ACCS documents. And then City had a detailed discussion with the Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the conclusion now is that for any attestation from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the process is going to be that the documents should first come to ACCA, we attest them and endorse them, then to British Council. British Council will also doubly attest them, and then to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This process I'm going to communicate to all members in a few days' time through an email. So that is already sorted out. Mirza Kambar Hussain is saying, this session has been very informative. At least now we know what we should expect in terms of mass salary. We're still thinking about the previous session. Arsalan Yaqub is saying, very informative session. Would request if a session on going for further studies at London from Pakistan for MSc, etc. could be conducted. That would be helpful. Arsalan, we have conducted one session on University of London. About 100 members who attended it. We will think about repeating that. Ahmad Ali saying, thank you, very informative session. Arsalan Yaqub is saying, can I get in contact with you to get information on how can I proceed with studies at LUMS? Please share your email address. I'm highly interested in going for a LUMS MBA. you could direct the email to me.
Yes.
Members.pk is a common email address if you want to access or write to any ACCA MNP member or council member. You could write at members.pk@accglobal.com, and that email will be shared with the respective council member or MNP member. Okay, I think that's all about it. Thank you very much. We've come to natural conclusion. I'd like to once again announce the procedure of voting. I'm going to send the proxy forms and the ballot papers to all the members who've attended this session. If you could please announce.
जी बिल्कुल ये जितने भी ऑनलाइन पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं हारून will share with them an email जिसमें बैलेट पेपर होगा और प्रॉक्सी फॉर्म होगा. So आप अपना प्रॉक्सी फॉर्म साइन करके फिल करके या बैलेट पेपर जो भी है आपका उसको आप स्कैन करके वापस आप ईमेल कर दें members.pk@accglobal.com. So I'll say again कि जो आपके पास ईमेल आएगी जिसमें ये प्रॉक्सी फॉर्म और बैलेट पेपर होगा और आप उसको फिल इन करके स्कैन कीजिएगा और members.pk@accglobal.com इस पे आप भेज दें. And I think I would like to say a personal thank you to each one of you for taking out time, for feeling and understanding that these are important agendas and this communication channels are extremely important. Thank you so much. आप सबका feedback बहुत important है. You have access to us. Please route all your queries, your concerns, and I'll personally address those also. And I am there for guidance, whether it is with regards to lungs, whether it regards to any other matter. We need to work closely together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, all of you. Take care.